Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan. Thanks for joining us for our weather update for this week coming up through until this weekend, and also a bit of a sneak peek as what we're going to see at the very end of this month, because May finishes next week. June, the start of winter on the meteorological calendar anyway, kicks off next week. Let's take a look at the animated wind map. There's a lot going on in our map today. We've got to the north what was Cyclone Gina. It remained Category 1 for 3 days. It fell apart on Saturday in the southern parts of Vanuatu near New Caledonia, now drifting away. It does get kind of close to New Zealand, but as you can see, it's not exactly a storm feature. The main feature on our map is actually this big area of high pressure parked over Tasmania. It will take an entire week to cross over New Zealand. This coming weekend, it will be passing over the top of our skies, which means this coming week, we're on the eastern side of it, and that means more of those southwesterly winds, which in fact will get colder as we get in towards Wednesday, Thursday, just before the high really rolls in. One more surge of Antarctic air coming up. Nothing like what we saw last week, but temperature-wise, there'll be more frosts and colder weather coming in for the South Island especially. And the other feature, way over here on the western side, we've got ourselves a storm feature coming through with strong to gale force winds. And that's actually where we kick off. Western Australia, way out over near Perth, you've got gale force winds coming in. This is at 5 p.m. today, your time. You got strong winds coming through, blustery from the west with the centre of the low parked right there. Now over on the New Zealand side, it's a lack of wind that we've got. That's the reason why we're seeing frosts overnight tonight through the central North Island. The main risk, through the central parts of the South Island, there's a slight risk for the central North Island, and the main risk zone in that purple shading, that is the area that has temperatures down to zero. You can see these maps, they're interactive at weatherwatch.co.nz. So let's get into the forecast for Tuesday. You can see that high still centred over Tasmania, and on the eastern side of it, that southerly flow is still with us. Now on Tuesday, the high gets a little bit taller north to south, and that encourages that reach down here to go further down off the screen and then dredge up some colder air. So the weather in New Zealand is going to get colder before it gets warmer, and it does warm up this coming weekend. Overnight lows back up around 14 degrees for northern areas, whereas tonight you're down to about 3 degrees in Waikato, for example. So Tuesday we've got the leftovers of the cyclone to the northeast, and this very big high rolling in, and then that storm system in Western Australia, which is sort of unravelling as we go through Tuesday. Now, this is coming in onto Wednesday morning. We are going to be seeing windy weather around the South Island. This is the southwesterly winds, so it won't be so frosty around this time, but you can see down here very blustery conditions. We're talking about gale force winds just brushing the southeastern corner, otherwise calm up here around Christchurch and Canterbury. Lunchtime on Wednesday, you can see those windy southerlies coming through there, and that blue line means you get another temperature drop. So this is sort of the second Antarctic change within a week, and that's due to this big high and where it's located dredging up that southerly change on Wednesday, and it helps to have this storm feature off to the southeast as well. So that dredges up a big cold southerly, not overly wet though, just a few showers in the forecast, a few snow flurries on the ranges. Now as we go in towards Thursday morning, the frosts return. So after that southerly change, the winds start to die back, and that's what we see here as we go in towards Thursday morning. Frost conditions far more widespread here in that purple zone, and potentially even a risk getting lower down into the plains of a light frost. Just depends on that windy weather and what it does. So here we are on Thursday. The high is rolling in. The winds are lighter, so that's why we're not seeing, that's why we are seeing, I should say, frosty weather being more likely around the South Island. We've got a few showers lingering, otherwise that's about it. And on the Australian side, the easterly winds come back with showers hugging your coastline on Thursday. As we go into Friday, more of those showers down the coastline, but it's dry inland, so it doesn't take much. Very much coastal showery weather. It's actually curving and turning just there on the back end of that high. So the week in New Zealand ends pretty settled with just a couple of showers up here in the north on Friday. And as we head in towards the weekend, that high will be the dominating feature for the New Zealand area, which means Friday's a bit of a cold one, departure from normal on the right, on the east, I was going to say on the right-hand side, same thing, eastern side of the country, below normal temperatures, also up here around Nelson. But for the top of New Zealand and the western sides, it's looking fairly mild, a little bit warmer than average on Friday. So our final map is going into the weekend. It's here on Saturday. Now, the high here on Saturday slowly starting to depart. And as it departs, we switch from the cold southerlies and we swing around to the warm subtropical northeasterlies. So the weekend is going to warm up. As I said, tonight's low, 3 degrees in Waikato, but by Sunday night it's plus 14. So quite a change on the way, and here is the good news. For the drought zones of Waikato and Auckland, this area of low pressure likely to drift over and bring some rain next week, followed by the windy westerlies coming through, which may also see low pressure, not just the wind, but low pressure coming in as well. That is needed for places like Waikato. We need some more rain. Please check out the story we've got right now at ruralweather.co.nz or weatherwatch.co.nz. It does cover the upcoming rainfall chances for Waikato and Auckland next week, because there is the chance of this rainmaker and another one coming through. Last thing to notice, you won't see a huge area of high pressure out here to the west. We've had a lot of big highs like this. The reason why we're saying there's a chance of some rain is because the next high is just there off the screen out in the Indian Ocean, which means we've got some room for rainmakers to come back in. Not 100% locked in, but the chances are definitely higher than they've been for some time for northern New Zealand. That's all from me. We'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, with our next update. See you then.